မှာတက်သူနဲ့ဖွင့်လှစ်တဲ့သင်တန်းမှာတက်ရောက်နေတဲ့သင်တန်းသားသင်တန်းသူတွေအားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်ကျွန်တော်ဒါဒေါက်တာဘေဒွန်ချန်းကလည်းဒေါက်တာဘေကလည်းကျွန်တော်မိတ်ဆွေဖြစ်ပါတယ်ကိုရီးယားဗမာပြည်မှာလာပြီးသူတည်တနာတွေအများကြီးလုပ်ပြီးသွားတာပါအဲကျွန်တော်တို့ဆရာပြောပြီးတဲ့အချိန်မှာ after his talk ပေါ့နော်ဆရာတို့ဆရာမတို့မိတ်ဆွေတွေဗမာလူမေးရင်လည်းရပါတယ်ဒီဘက်ကဒေါက်တာချူချူဆန်းနဲ့ဒေါ်ရတီခင်တို့ကနေပြီးတော့ဟိုအင်္ဂလိပ်လိုဘာသာပြန်ပေးမယ်ဖြစ်ပါတယ် in case ပေါ့နော်thank you very much again good afternoon everybody this is a good opportunity for us to invite Dr. B from Korea, who is one of my colleague. He has been working in Myanmar for a long years. So I will ask Doyati Kin, one of the Korean brain advisor, to give as a moderator, please. Doyati Kin, please go on. Doyati Kin and Dr. Chusa. Yes, thank you.
Yes, Yari. Yes, Yari. Good afternoon, everyone. Yari and Dr. Vedu Chan. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to warmly welcome you all to today's Zoom session. My name is Yeti Kin, and Dr. Chuchusa will be the moderators for today's presentation. Today's presentation title is GCAT Analysis of Rice Production in Ayawaddy Data of Myanmar. It's our great honor to have Dr. Bedu Chan as our speaker. Dr. Bedu Chan is a visiting scholar at the Seoul National University Asia Center and a lecturer at the Department of Smartphone Science at Guangxi University. His research focuses on climate-smart agriculture, international agricultural development, and food security in Asia and developing countries. He holds a PhD in crop science and biotechnology from Seoul National University. He is as our speaker today. So before we begin, kindly note the following. Please keep your microphones muted during the presentation. You may type your question in the chat box after the presentation. The Q&A session will be held after the presentation. So without further delay, I would like to invite Dr. Bedu Chan to start his presentation. Dr. Be, Mingalaba, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yes. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I'm Dr. Bedo Chan, and Alongbe Binglaba Kamia, Juno Name, Bedo Chamba, Miampama Name Aungba, Junuru, Miamabima Kununi Nigere, Piro, Hudunga, I was to Seyaji, Dr. Myoje, the lecturer, he really helped me. So thank you very much. And today, this is very honored to joining today's session. And thank you very much for our chairperson, Seyaji, Dr. Myoche, to give a chance to talk, invite for this special lecture. Okay, thank you. And may I share my screen? And I would like to start today's my presentation. Yes, okay, so now can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, today my topic is that the yield gap analysis of rice production, especially in Ayawaddy Delta. Yeah, so maybe in Myanmar the rice is the staple food. So we know that the rice is how much important in Myanmar and also Korea and in Asia, rice is most stable food. So today I present about this topic, how to narrow, make so smaller yield gap especially in Myanmar and rice production area. So today my topic is divided three parts. So number one is that the gap analysis in the Ayawaddy Delta, and second one, not only Myanmar, we can focusing on a little bit neighbor countries. So at this time, I would like to compare with Vietnam, Mekong Delta, and also I would like to very short case study in my last year's some visit trip, Nepal and Indonesia. So I put a little bit some slide, and then the last one I would like very short the conclusion. So how to make the narrow, the fill the rice yield gap in Myanmar. So at this time, the most of the audience is my Junuru Donghaejin, the Myanmar, our friend people. So that's why maybe you know them better than me. So the why Myanmar is how big and how important. Yes. So maybe I'll skip this slide. Mhm. And just briefly start the SDG number 1 and 2 is linkage with the especially agriculture and rice production. So no poverty and zero hunger. But when I compare with some Korea or Japan, some a little bit some developed country and also with the Myanmar, some parties already some overall performance, especially some food and poverty and hunger is a little bit you know there is just some gap. So that's why our agriculture and rice production is important. Yes. So I was uh, I had the experience in the CARTC. Maybe most of you know that in Hlegu. 2002. Most maybe more than 20, around 22, 23 years ago, I was a volunteer in CARTC in Hlegu, Saipiwe Tingganjang, and also I had some chance to visiting lecturer in Yejin Agricultural University city. And basically, I was working for the KOICA and especially Myanmar Yangon office at that time. I tried to developing the agricultural project and livestock and also fishery. So you know the what is the ODA and Korea's some KOICA and some EDCF, the Exim Bank, and also Ministry of Agriculture. We try to support the Myanmar developing some agricultural part. So I'm proud of that. I'm also the one of the member, at that period. So briefly, so maybe around 10 years ago, 2015, I back to Myanmar again, and I stayed 5 years. At that time, I supporting those kind of not only agriculture mechanization center in also Nepido, the other RDA. I mean, yeah, the research institute in Bimana, Nepido, and post-harvest institute of the gene bank. And some SMU rural development project, and also some fishery in Mandalay, land consolidation. And I also remember that the COVID-19 2020. I also I'm in charge of this some seed kit program. So at that time, I supporting more than 20 200,000 people, household with supporting some the seed kit to supporting their some food security. So backyard they can growing some pumpkin and gojongwet and eggplant and cucumber and etc. Okay, so let's move to the rice industry again. So Myanmar. So the most important staple food is the rice. So the 2020, there is some statistic half of the your production is rice paddy. Yes, and then some sugar cane and maize and oilseed and etc. And rice side, there are just some the rice yield last 5 years, 2015 to 2020. It's the rice yield from the Korea, China, Japan, Taiwan, and then the Southeast Asia country, Vietnam, and etc. And Myanmar, you can see that Myanmar is a little bit the lower ranked, right? So that's why we are here. So how to, yeah, climbing, until overcome the Indonesia and Vietnam, right? So today I would like to share how, according to my research, what kind of limiting factor uh, we can figure it out. Yes, and we can also check up the not only the rice production, the bar, and also rice export. The rice is very special because most of uh, I I mean naming that the 9 to 1 some kind of the theory. So 90% of rice is indica, especially in Southeast Asia, and also 90% of production is located in Asia, and also 90% of rice is the self consumption. So only 10% of the rice is exported. So very thin market. So that's why some price crisis, and I mean it's very the fragile market. And also 90% of farmer is the small household, not like the very big farm in US and Australia. 90 of farmer is the small household. Okay, so we can check that, yeah, India and China, they're very huge rice production, but they're also very huge, gigantic the population. So except that the brown color, the round is that how much rice they export. So the main rice export is India and some Thailand, Pakistan, Vietnam, and also Myanmar is that around number 7, the rice export country. So maybe we can skip China and India is a very special case, and we can compare with the Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Vietnam, and Thailand, yeah, and Myanmar. So Korea and Myanmar is the rice yield gap is 2.7, but in Korea we only the growing single cropping, so that's why we more a little bit take care. But Myanmar, yeah, maybe half of farmer you growing the single cropping, but there's just some second cropping, mung bean and black bean and etc. But in Korea only one time single the cropping for rice. The whole entire year. So each are a little bit different. But there's also Vietnam. Do you know the how much the yield gap between the Myanmar and Vietnam is around 2.1 ton per hectare. So each hectare there's a 2 tons of rice production is behind of the Vietnam currently. Okay, so let's just briefly review about the rice production in Myanmar. Yeah, the total, the cultivation, the production. So we can see 1/3 of the rice production located in Ayawaddy Delta. So that's why, we can call the Ayawaddy our rice bowl. Mhm. So there is just some data, some production and yield. So only the Ayawaddy, the national area, the whole national area is only 5% land size, but you can, you can produce 1/3 of the whole nation-wide rice production. So that's why Ayawaddy is very important. And not only Ayawaddy, Bago, and Sagaing, Somshan, hilly area, there's also some rice production, but we can check the Ayawaddy is too important. So, but Ayawaddy is quite big, so we can divided 3 parts, the upper and middle and lower delta. So there are just some quite huge issue, the flooding, sometimes drought and submergence air, and also the dry season. There's just some saltwater intrusion from the seaside, Andaman seaside. So there's some each characteristic, yeah, but air is important. So that's why. So how to we can supporting, whole Myanmar and also especially in Ayawaddy Delta. Yeah, there's a yes, much lower rice yield compared with the other delta. Maybe I'll show you compare with others like the Vietnam Mekong Delta, and also the Egypt. There are also Nile Delta. There are also growing area, but Ayawaddy Delta is a little bit much lower. Okay, so and also defining the yield gap and how to solve that problem urgently. Yes, so this research is the data is the collected by one of the Koika project, former project, each starting from feasibility and implementation survey conducted in 2016. At that time, I was working as a chief manager of the agriculture in Myanmar, Yangon office of the Koika. So at the time I joining, maybe there's just some Seama and also one of the our friend from the YAU and some also Netherlands consultant, we joining together. But at that time, our master plan is the not only rice production and some technology. They at the time cover all the some irrigation, drainage, land consolidation, and environmental conservation, mangrove. It's too broad, but my survey is only focusing on the farm level field data, especially 2018 to 2019. Okay, so I briefly show. I already share my presentation. So presentation file. So chapter 1 and chapter 2, there are just some specific objective. So I'll show you one by one. So chapter 1, okay, let's figure out the gap analysis in Ayawaddy Delta. So there's some diverse, the limiting factor, some geographical and climatic factor, and agronomic factors. For example, infrastructure, some water management, salinity, soil type, and precipitation, the rainfall, and disaster, cyclone, etc. And also agronomic factor, land preparation, and seed supply, fertilizer, pesticide, weed control, hand weeding, and pest control, and harvest also. Yeah, this is a basic precipitation data in Ayawaddy. But then, maybe you know that I remember that, I stayed in Myanmar 7 years. Monsoon season, 뭐 유알에, 뭐 어미아지 유알에 너, and 뿌레, 띵잔, the other 띵잔, 뿌레, 아얀 뿌레 너. Okay, I remember that. Middle of April. Yeah. So, in maybe you also visited. Yeah, most of you already visited Ayawaddy Delta, Hintada, and Patain, and the other place. Maybe I just summarize. Yeah, they store their seed, their own seed for the farmer seed, because there's a very the lack of the government certified seed. So that's why they storing like that. And sometimes some farmer trying to drum seeder or direct seeding, or sometimes transplanting. Yeah, I saw that in the area, they using some very long stick and they transplanting uh, after sowing, after germinating, maybe 30, 45, 50 days, very long, and using some pork. Yeah. And also hand harvesting and irrigation and weeding, and they drying in the road, and sometimes some submerged area, and sometimes well uh, irrigated area. Yeah, it's combined. Yeah, very the complicated area in those area the delta. Okay, so thankfully the CRG, the Dr. Myoje, like Dr. Myoje, he also sharing the some yield gap analysis and yield gap data, some methodology. So yield gap analysis is the started 1970 in IRI, International Rice Research Institute. Yeah, especially in 6 Asian country. So they would like to figure out what's the yield limiting factors. So narrowing the yield gap is one of the major, the concern in Asia. So yield gap is that it is the potential yield minus actual yield. So maybe the have you experienced how many what's the your score, the rice yield in the research station level, were 예진 때까지 level maybe around 10 ton or 11 ton. According to some paper, Dr. Yoshida in Japan, he figured out the 1 hectare, there are 15, around 16 ton is the climatic yield potential, but it's, the very, station level. And also economic yield potential is that 85% of that, the 100%, the 16 ton. But economic yield potential is difficult to. They put a lot of fertilizer, pesticide, and hand weeding, and very take care. It's also very difficult. So that's why our research is try to compare with the best farmer yield, the farmers, the best one, and then average farmers yield. So this red one is very important. So field levels, the how to we can overcome, follow that the kind of the SEA, SEA maybe, nice, bad practitioner, best farmers yield minus the actual yield. I try to figure it out. That's the actual the yield gap. Yes. And also one of the research, yeah, there is some tropical regions rice yield potential is the red color is that dry season. Yeah, yeah. So economically, we can uh, make a record around 10 ton. And even wet season is, the very difficult to get the rice yield gap because there are a lot of some flooding or sometimes some pests and disease. So that's why wet season, monsoon season is a little bit lower. Yeah, but currently, actual yield especially in Asian country, yeah, yeah, Vietnam also less than 6 ton because they are sometimes double cropping or even yeah. Anyway, they are starting from the 6 to now Myanmar is around the only around 4 ton. Yeah. The summer season is a little bit high, but the monsoon season is quite low. So maybe there is a gap, so we can catch up that the gap. Yeah. So before moving to the Myanmar case, I just briefly the showing the another country. Yeah, not only the continental area, Vietnam and Myanmar, also some the coastal, the Asian country, Indonesia, and some the hilly area Nepal. So last year I visited 3 times to Indonesia. So I was a team leader of this Koika project, strengthening food security, especially increasing rice production and productivity. Yeah, through the some rice center. So total budget was 25 million USD. Yeah. So I'm really after from this year or next year, I would like to also visit to the Myanmar, so developing those kind of rice research institute in Yejin, YAU, or Bimana. So Indonesia also some area. So in Java Island is it's kind of the Ayawaddy in Indonesia. So Java Island, they are producing 50% of the rice production in whole Indonesia. But some area like Subang, they can make 7 ton per hectare in dry season. Yeah, and some area is very good, but some area, Bogor area, is actual yield is only 2.5 ton. Indonesia is also, uh, when I check, not developed. Yeah. And for example, 95% of Indonesia farmer, they are hand transplanting. Yeah, Indonesia, most of farmer, they do not spreading the direct seeding. They hand transplanting and also hand harvesting. Yeah. And I don't know why Indonesia is number 3 rice production country in the world after India and China and Bangladesh and Indonesia is same level. But I don't know, Indonesia farmer hand transplanting and hand harvesting. Yeah, more than 90%. Yes. So some areas very low rice yield, and some the Sukhabumi, a little bit seaside, is much lower. Some lowland is 4.5, but upland rice, they call go-go rice, is only 1.2 ton per hectare. So that's why Indonesia is also now facing some food crisis because their government tried to the school feeding 100%, elementary school, the middle school, and also high school, but there's no rice. Yeah, so Indonesia is also now importing a lot of rice from the Vietnam and India. So that's why Indonesia, some president and some the minister, they are very angry. Why do not growing production rice much and much? So that's why Korea try to supporting Indonesia. So Indonesia government now have a plan. They will make new rice the plantation farming 3 million hectare in some Papua Island, yeah, or the other some island. Yeah, they have a Papua and Kalimantan. They would like to make 1.5 million hectare, 1.5 million hectare of the rice plantation area because their population is almost, the 0. Uh, 30, 300 billion, 300 billion population, and every year they their population increasing 1%. That means the 3 million people is increasing. So that's why 2 or 3 years later, they need the 10 million of people's rights they need it. So that's why the kind of some issue they have. So that's why Indonesia also they try to boosting up the rice production. And how about the Nepal? Maybe Nepal is quite near from the Myanmar, the Mandalay and Sagaing area. So Nepal is also, you can see some upper region is very, some Himalaya, some mountainous area, but Nepal, near the India, there is some Tarai region. We call it very flat. It's like the uh, Ayawaddy or Bago. Yeah, so very flat area. So they also try to climate resilience rice production and productivity. Yeah, in Tarai region. This project is also quite huge, 12 million. So we figured out some province, what kind of problem, some pests and disease, and they also second cropping. They call it the spring rice. For to do that, they need some uh, deep tube well or transplanter and etc. And also some, early mature and cold tolerance variety they needed. Yeah, and some premium pine rice they have, Bardia, and maybe there is some also some branding rice and customized machinery, not big one, not from Korea or Japan, but it's the small, easy to turn, the small terrace, the farming area. Yeah, they try to do that. Yeah, and there are also maybe there's a rice is two type. One is the coarse rice, very cheap, and the fine rice, now most of Nepalian people, they try to consumption some fine rice. So that's why most of farmer, coarse rice is the dominant, easy to grow, very strong with the pest and disease. But even the farmer, they do not eating the coarse rice. Yeah, they only growing for their house consumption, fine rice, and coarse rice is selling to the market. So that's why the border area there's India. India is the most strong rice production country. So that's why they import a lot of. So those kind of some domestic international issue is there. Nepal, they also try to do that, and also some climate resilience technology. Okay, so let's back to the Myanmar again. So now maybe we can showing some figure. So I used some boundary line analysis. So most of you already know that. So there is some scatter plot with spread. So each plot is the one of the data. So the Y and X XL. So Y is the rice yield, and XL is the sometime input, seed or pesticide or fertilizer and etc. So this is a boundary line analysis is very easy and very cheap, and we can also figure out those kind of breakpoint. The first point of the some the high uh, yeah, yield potential. So segmented model is we can figure out some those kind of breakpoint. So maybe we can easily understand from the next slide. So here I would like to figure it out. So investigate rice production and what kind of the factor is impacting in Ayawaddy Delta and quantify the yield gap, especially in Myanmar Ayawaddy Delta, MAD. So for this survey, is collected from the 8 township, maybe you know the Hintada, and Patain, and Piapong, etc. Around the 1,000, more than 1,000 households. Yeah, and main crop monsoon, summer rice, and others, mung bean, and etc. Yes, 2008 data, 2008 and 9, the fiscal year data. So there's just some value and method is the simple random sampling, and there's just some face-to-face the interview. I remember that this interview is conducted by one of the YAU economic the department, the professor and their our colleagues. So there is summer season and monsoon season's characteristic. So the March there is a even this is a irrigation canal, but there is no water sometime, and so that's why there is some mung bean is planted, and all. But even though there is some irrigation canal is very near, there is some plenty of water. So farmer, even the summertime, they can with the irrigated field, yeah, they can growing the rice. And monsoon season, August and September, yeah, irrigation canal is already the flooded. Yeah, and monsoon rice field is that uh, maybe some kind of fish farming, but it's very natural. But also some good the drainage system. They can control the water. So monsoon rice is also some irrigated field, very well the good condition. Yeah. So there's just some result. So I'll explain one by one, but data is maybe we can easily figure it out. So I discuss and explain some very essential. So regionally, we can see that in monsoon season there's just some the yield is different. So upper area is a little bit higher, and middle and lower. And you know that the lower delta is very, it's not well organized landfill condition, and sometimes flooded, and so that's why lower and lower area is much low the rice yield. And summer is there's no significant some differences. Yeah, it's maybe according to our research result, there's not too much, some yield gap. Mhm. And let's move to the some fertilizer effect. Is that before do that, I'll explain that the red line is that yield potential, Mhm. the maximum, the farmer's best yield, and blue line, horizon line is that the actual yield, the average. Yeah. So this area, most farmers average is 4.9 ton. Yeah, but the high yield farmer, they can make 6.1 ton per hectare. So there is just some most smallest yield gap is blue one, and the largest yield gap is that red one. So fertilizer effect, we can figure it out the middle uh, the middle township in Ayawaddy and monsoon season, there is a big, large yield gap. So we can figure it out. In fertilizer, the usage is we can effect in especially in monsoon season and the middle area is huge. Yeah. And the red one, sorry, the blue, each the vertical line, the single one is that mean fertilizer cost or mean each the x-axis. So fertilizer and next slide, the pesticide, the average cost. So, and let's move to the pesticide. Yeah, some of farmer using the x-axis, yeah, it's the US dollar, the 2018, 19, some current exchange rate. So it's a little bit different now. You can easily understand the USD. So most of farmer, they can spread in monsoon season. They using the around the 45 or 30 the pesticide cost, and there's some big yield gap is the we can figure it out summer season lower delta. So it's important in that area. And summer season in middle delta, there's a very the narrow the yield gap. That means the summer season middle delta, there are good weather condition. There's a not huge impact and effect of the some disease or insect. Yeah, we can figure out those kind of data. And I figured out not only cost and seed amount and seed source. Yeah, seed cost and amount is a little bit similar, but seed cost is that most of farmer they pay per hectare around the 30 USD. Yes, because I remember that 50 kg of the rice seed is that the $10. Yeah, at the time, the down are town chat, but now a little bit different. But yeah, and one basket is 20 kg is around 5,000 chat. Yeah, I mean the 5 years ago. Yeah. So their average some seed cost is 30, and we can figure it out in middle area there's just some large yield gap or small yield gap. Yeah, cost is we can move. How about the seed rate? I mean the kg per hectare. The recommended dose, I mean recommended amount of the seed in Myanmar per hectare is how much? Do you know? Yeah, it's around the 50 kg to the 100 kg. And some farmer is 75. So as you can see that most of farmer they can follow the recommended the amount of the dose. I mean the 50 kg, 75 or 100 kg. But also some of the farmers, sometime in lower delta, they try to spreading or direct seeding or transplanting 2 or 3 times of the, you know, seed amounts. So at the time, I asked to the farmer, maybe some farmer, they believe that especially lower data, that's kind of replanting or uh, avoiding of the some weed competitions. To do that, they spreading a lot of some seed amount. Maybe extension officer, maybe they can teach to the farmer. Yeah, there's just the curve. There's just some curve. So they try too much. The seed rate is it's not good to the more competition from the rice. That's why maybe there we can figure it out the kind of issue. Mhm. Okay, so and also seed source, then it's kind of some government seed, the certified seed system. So, you know, this is the at the bottom bar is that the number of households. Yeah, just say own meaning the farmers saved rice seed. The harvesting seed, they're selecting some good variety and planting and sowing and again. But the the replacement rate is very important. Maybe less than 3 years, they have to renew the rice, but rice seed, but maybe some farmer they using again and again more than 5 years, sometimes 7 years. So that's why half of farmer they planting their saved seed, own seed. So that's why we figured out own seed again and again. There's a significant low, especially monsoon. Mhm. And exchange from the friend, Donghaejin, the others, and also some dealer. I mean the dealer shop. Mm. Some pesticide shop, it's a little bit high, and government, government also, the DOA, their main one of the role is that also government supply seed, certified seed. So we figured out government seed is anyway the most certified seed, so that's why their yield is significantly high yield than their farmers self-saved rice seed. Uh-huh. But one a little bit interesting is that summer season there is no significant difference. That means summer season is that quite good condition. So that's why not only the seed source, not only seed source, the other fertilizer and water supply is more good, big factor. So we can figure it out. So maybe some farmer summer season they can cost saving buying the government seed, but they have to invest in monsoon season rice. They have to buy DOA or the some private company. Yeah, so that's why, from the own seed, moving to the low quality of the rice seed source, the rice yield gap is much bigger than bigger, 0.1, 0.2, 0.6, something like that. Yes. And a seed effect variety is also important. You know, there's just at the bottom of the center bar is that it's the rice yield, and at the bottom is that the number of the household, the number of the seed using farmer. Yeah. So green color is the high yield variety. The Shintuka introduced 2009, and Monotuka is a little bit wrong, but higher the variety, recent 30, 40 years ago. And Humobi 2, 1985. The higher the variety is, we can figure it out, the some, especially some summer season, and also some middle and upper in monsoon. Yeah. And local variety, can you see that? Here and here and here? No. Local variety such as Daobian and Posan is only we can figure it out in the lower delta. Yeah, even summer and monsoon, there is around 50 farmer, 100 farmer using the number 20 Daobian or 18 Posan. And also monsoon season lower delta very difficult, so that's why very low rice yield. At that time, also most of farmer they using the local variety. Mhm. And also some interesting result is that the the purple color, purple blue color is that's the short duration. Yeah, have you heard that Thai 90? Very extreme short period variety. Yeah, maybe around 90 or 95 days they can harvesting, from the Thailand. Yeah. So farmer, they already know that, especially, summer season, the lack of the water, so that's why, the farmer want to get the very early harvesting, so that's why farmer already planting Thai 90 in summer season. And Pakan Shewa, 41, yeah, it's figured out, only in summer season and not monsoon season. Yes, those kind of information we already got. So sometimes farmer, they are also very clever. So that's why they also now try to choosing in their own condition. Okay, and transplanting method, there is not significant some result, but in Myanmar, most of farmer, this is the bar is the on the bar is the direct seeding transplanting. So transplanting is very rare technique, yeah, and there is just lack of the transplanter. So that's why most of Myanmar the farmer in Ayawaddy, they're using the direct seeding. So there is a not too much some significant result, yeah. And some are also farmer they're using some direct seeding method. Okay, so maybe I can just skip this data. So summarize this yield gap analysis. So I figured out already delta. There are just some yield gap analysis revealed that rice yield gap depend on the region, upper, middle, lower, and cropping season. Summer is high and monsoon is low, and input factor including fertilizer, pesticide, and seed. Yes. And monsoon season is show that the large yield gap better than the summer season. Summer is high and high, but monsoon season is some areas a little bit high, medium, but some areas very low. Yeah. And region was also significant factor. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Only in the monsoon season. And the great yield gap is observed in fertilizer. Yeah, maybe you know that why. So that's why fertilizer is important. So there's a maximum yield gap 2.7. Yeah, about maybe 50% of the yield is there's just some compare with the fertilizer input, and then seed and pesticide cost is the next step. Yeah, so that's why. So in AOD delta, we can make some narrowing the yield gap at least 0.8 to maximum 2.7 ton per hectare by improving agronomic input and practices. So this is end of the chapter 1. And let's move to the chapter 2. So this is a comparative analysis with not only focusing on the Ayawaddy, also the other. So now I choosing the Vietnam Mekong Delta because very near and very similar size. Yeah. Okay, there are a lot of delta area. Delta area is very important for the some you know fertile area by the flooding. Yeah, so the Ayeyarwady and Mekong, and there are some Egypt Nile Delta and Amazon, Mississippi. There is a delta. Okay, background. So I will show you, compare with the Myanmar and Vietnam. Yeah, so 1960, Myanmar's rice yield is 1.6 and Vietnam was 1.8. Very, yeah, almost similar. Yeah, but 2020, the yield gap is, yeah, bigger and bigger, 2.5, 2.1 ton per hectare. So Vietnam is here, rice yield is there, and Myanmar is here. Mhm. And export amount is also that. So delete the China and the other, only India and Vietnam, uh, Thailand is high rank, and Myanmar we have to catch up more than US and Pakistan and the other country. So how to do that? We can uh, figure it out. So according to the FAO data, yeah, starting from 1961. I compare with the the yield data between Vietnam and Myanmar. Yeah. Uh, at the first time, the black spot is a little bit higher, 1980s. Myanmar is a little bit higher, but each, the switch, especially to 1987 and 8. Yeah, maybe you know what it happened. And Vietnam also, Vietnam government policy, 1978, they started Doi Moi policy. It's very, kind of government developing some policy, Doi Moi. So that's why after that, so Vietnam is one step forward than the Myanmar. Uh-huh. So I this is the linear. Yeah. So every year, 67 kg per hectare. Yeah. Every year, 67 ton, their rice yield is increasing. Yeah. Yeah. So we have to follow up. Yeah. Overcome. So I compare with some two country and one, you know the Myanmar already. So I'll just show you the Mekong Delta. You know, Mekong Delta area, they are triple rice cropping. Yeah, I'll show you again the backside. Uh, Triple rice cropping area is around 50%. Half of Mekong Delta, they 30%, yeah, I mean, is triple. And the other 40% is the double rice cropping. Yeah. So this is also the rice bowl in Vietnam. Okay, so two areas very similar, you know, climate and soil type is also, and saltwater intrusion is also Vietnam Mekong Delta farmer. There are also some big problem. So that's why heavy some monsoon season, the farmer they change to the fishermen sometime. Yeah, and flooding, drought, and cyclone, those kind of natural disaster is also problem. Uh-huh. So this chapter is the comparative analysis. So what kind of some differences and gap we have. So and then we can figure it out. So I'm using FAO data and some international website data using. So Myanmar and Vietnam, the red line, the rice yield is important. So that's why their rice yield is a little bit the less than 4 ton in Myanmar, but Vietnam is from the 1990. Yeah, they're increasing too much. Uh-huh. And rice land area production area is almost similar, same, but according to the rice yield, so the dark green color, yeah. So that's why rice production is now, yeah, significantly changed. Mhm. And as I mentioned that, so that's why the those kind of the yield gap change is, as you can see, compared with the Myanmar and Vietnam. Uh-huh. So harvesting area is almost, and I'll just skip. Maybe you can read it, and so that's why, yeah, Myanmar is not increasing too much. Uh-huh. And compare the some climatic factor, temperature, is that sorry, yeah. And Myanmar is that great max the temperature. 아얀불에, yeah. Too much hot compared with the Vietnam. And raw data is also the compared with the Vietnam, much lower, yeah, in Vietnam. Uh-huh. So this is red one is Myanmar and blue one is the Vietnam. So you can see that. And gray one is Korea. So you can just red compare with red and blue. Red is Myanmar and blue is, so that's why Vietnam people, they can growing 3 times, but Myanmar is Ayampure in March. So that's why you can growing only 2 times. Yeah. So now, global warming, the farmers' most problem is that they do not growing uh, 1 time because some significant more than 34 some flowering area season the 34 degree is very critical the point, so that's why now Vietnam's breeder they try to flowering early morning, yeah, around 6 or 7, yeah, not 9 to 10. So that's why they avoiding the high temperature 34. Yeah, those kind of breeding is also, yeah, conducting in Vietnam. Okay, and precipitation also, especially monsoon. Yeah, this is a dark is a black is Vietnam and the gray is Myanmar. 뭐 유아래, 아얀 유아래, no? So that's why it's also not uh, too good, and it's not good for the rice growing uh, double or triple. Uh-huh. So that kind of issue. So that's why only Myanmar you can growing monsoon season 1 time, very long period, Posan, and summer season very short time. But Vietnam yeah, they trying to 3 times because as I mentioned that there are only some temperature issue. So 34 degree in flowering stage. Yeah, but so they try to overcome. So why not Myanmar? We can also, yeah, second double rice cropping and some mung bean or some irrigate some vegetable. Maybe we can try. Yeah, and this is just some remote sensing data. So maybe some of the Ayawaddy Delta, the yellow one, double cropping rice is available, but most of gray color is single rice. But when you check the Vietnam, green color is triple rice. Yeah, they already in Vietnam, triple rice cropping is the 45% and double cropping is 47. Only single cropping is 6 and some fish. That's why there's a huge gap. Yeah, cropping intensity differences gap is 1. Yeah, Vietnam people, they growing one more the single rice cropping. Yeah, Myanmar Ayawaddy Delta is 1.4, Vietnam is 2.4. Yeah, so that's why some exports and production change. And fertilizer also, blue is Vietnam and red is Myanmar. So now Vietnam most big problem is the too much pesticide and fertilizer, but Myanmar is too low, yeah, fertilizer. So that's why there's also only 1/4 of the 25% of amount of the Vietnam fertilizer used. Yeah, it's too low. So we have to not too much. Korea is China too much, Taiwan too much, but maybe a little bit India or Pakistan amount. Maybe we have to increasing. And seed and variety also. The black spot is the Myanmar hired variety. Maybe less than 80 or 90% in 2020. I couldn't figure it out some data, but Vietnam, they was very low. Yeah, less than the Myanmar. But 2002, 20 years ago, they already 94% of hired variety, new varieties. Yeah, spread the whole farmer. That's why there's also the percentage gap is there. Mhm. And how about some irrigation and infrastructure? This is a drone image, Ayawaddy Delta, and it's not some, there is some polygon, different shape. Yeah, but in Vietnam, they already, yeah, 4 by 4, I mean the very square, yeah. So that's why, uh-huh. Rain-fed rice is Myanmar is 83%, but Vietnam is irrigated area is 89%. So those kinds of gap is also important. Okay, so this is a summarize that. So Myanmar Ayawaddy Delta and Vietnam Mekong Delta, there is last 3 years, yeah, every year there's just some rate is that 61 to 67 kg is the gap is bigger and bigger. Yeah. So now 2.15 ton is differences. Mhm. And those some climate, variable climate in Myanmar is allowed of the some less rice cropping and production compared with the Vietnam. Yeah. And also temperature is more stable and precipitation rainfall was less intensive. Yeah. And agronomic input is much lower, as we see that only just 25% of the Vietnam fertilizer and high yield variety is also very low. Mhm. And irrigated rice area is also lower and poor land infrastructure, irrigation, and also some of the drainage issue. And singleized cropping yeah, is is available without proper irrigation in summer season. Yeah, it's also important. Okay, so I would like to merge those kind of chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I'll just, uh, according to the time, one slide, yeah, some strategy how to fill that kind of yield gap in Ayawaddy Delta. Yes, maybe you are very familiar this photo. Yeah, very good rice field. Yeah, this I divided the three time sequential. So short-term approach and mid-term approach and long-term approach. So short-term within 1 or 2 or 3 years, maybe we can catch up, use a appropriate amount of the fertilizer, pesticide, and seed, the farmer, and employ more suitable crop protection method, how to using the spray and early stage pre-emergence, the herbicide, and etc. And cultivation of the more hybrid variety and certified seed is the important, in Ayawaddy Delta. And mid-term, 5 to 10 years, and more investment on irrigation infrastructure for the stable water management, and developing some cropping system, cropping pattern, not only in single, and so that's why increasing cropping intensity now 1.4, but following up to the Vietnam 2.5 or 3, in that zone area. And long-term approach, after 20 or 30 years later, maybe the Excellency, the Dr. Myoje, Dr. Myoje, we have to focusing invest rice breeding part. Breeding is very important. So Korea is ready to support with the ED to supporting Myanmar, and Ministry of Agriculture, MOALD, and also YAU, and input supply, some company, not only OBA, and some maybe Syngenta or some Myanmar, some Rainbow, is it China company? Yeah, a lot of some seed company and fertilizer, and not only Yanmar and Kuboda, also Myanmar, kind of Tata, Myanmar infrastructure company, they have to support, and infrastructure and adaptation of the climate change. Myanmar is also the very weakness country of the climate change, so that kind of the long-term approach is needed. Okay, thank you very much. This is end of my presentation. I just over the time 2 minutes. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Beng, for your excellent presentation and for sharing your expertise with us today. So my name is Cho Cho San, and I will be moderating Q&A section.